This is the K Central Show, and I am your host, Central Booking.
Yeah, I'm K Cran. What's up, people? How y'all doing out there? What's going on with everybody? And happy birthday to Cuz, because it's March 10th. And happy birthday to Cuz. In fact, I got to call Cuz and wish him a happy birthday. You getting old, boy.
Happy birthday.
I want to talk about something, man. Something I was thinking about, and I know when y'all see the title of this video, y'all gonna flip out, because y'all gonna be like, how the hell you gonna equate O.J. Simpson with black women? Well, we did. We did something. We did the impossible. We shocked the world. And I'm gonna talk about, I'm gonna go back to the 80s when I was a kid. I remember back in the 80s, my uncles and my cousins, and some of them were like drug dealers. And, back then there was no domestic violence.
Right.
And you would see women get beat by their men all the time.
Right.
I mean, you would see this all the time. And, chicks never called 911.
Right.
And oftentimes, these ladies, a lot of times back then, they weren't victims. You know what I mean? Because oftentimes they could have left that relationship.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they just chose not to. Do you consider that a victim? I really don't.
No.
I feel like if you stay in something voluntarily,
then you can't call yourself a victim.
So I'm going to tell a little story real quick, Central.
Okay.
Now, rest in peace to another, my cousin. Just rest in peace to him. He's been dead for a long time. He died in the early 90s, and, he kind of lived a reckless life.
Yeah.
But I remember him, he had a girlfriend, and I ain't going to say her name. And this girl was just stunningly fine to me. I mean, I just thought she was beautiful. She had long hair. I ain't gonna stunt. She was a yellow bone. I'm gonna keep it real. But this girl was pretty, world class pretty.
Okay.
Could have been a model. Probably could have been anything she wanted.
Right.
And my cousin, I used to sit there and watch my cousin as we were kids playing little Mario. Remember Mario?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I remember, man, he would bring her over the house, and all of a sudden they would just get into an argument, and all of a sudden he'd just be whooping her ass. I'm talking about major whooping. You gotta understand, this guy was like 6'4", 6'5".
Right.
19, 20 at the time, all muscle.
Mm.
This guy in high school won slam dunk contest. So this we ain't talking about no little weak kid. We talking about a dude with some big hands.
Right.
Who could palm a ball. I mean, he had some big long hands, very athletic. So when he would slap her, it didn't look real.
Right.
It would almost look like he would just lift off the ground, like bow, bow. You understand, folks? So I'm seeing this, and I'm like, damn, why does she keep staying with him? I mean, she had mad options to leave. I mean, anybody would have took the girl. The girl was beautiful.
Right.
And she stayed in that relationship. I mean, really till he passed. Like couple of years later, he ended up passing, because of some stupid shit he did. But I just remember he was always like mean to her. And her father didn't like my cousin, which understandably so. But he was an old guy. He was an old guy at the time. So he wasn't about that life. And,
right.
My cousin was kind of about that life. So he didn't want to come in and check him, but he didn't like the fact that his daughter was with my cousin. And you saw this a lot back in the 80s. Girls would get their ass whooped, and police never even came into the equation. I never even saw a female call the police.
I never did back then either. And
that's because you was participating, Central. What you talking about? So I was too young, but you was out there participating back then.
Hey, I'm a good guy. Don't believe what K Crim telling y'all.
But you didn't see it either.
But I didn't see it either. And I did see a few women get it before. You know, and no, the cops was never called. You know, and even after the fact, life went back to what life was. You know, either they straightened up or they got it again. You know, so I never actually saw police come into our situations
or our relationships,
right?
Like that. You know, I remember, you know, it was kind of a thing where they stayed out of it.
Yeah.
You know, you never saw that. Now, I'm going to fast forward to the 90s. You know, early 90s. It was still kind of the same.
Yeah.
You know, early 90s, it was kind of the same. You know, it was still chick get a beat down by her man. You know, either she wanted to stay with him or not. A lot of women kind of was like, hey, if he, you know, that was kind of a culture back then. If you did whoop her ass, you didn't love her. I'm just being honest with you. That was an underbelly culture a lot of people don't want to talk about.
Right.
Especially here in the South.
Right.
That you had to whoop your woman's ass back then. I'm not condoning this shit. I'm not. I'm just telling you it happened and this is what I saw.
Right.
So don't y'all getting talking about them boys over there condoning domestic violence, telling us to go whoop females' ass. I ain't telling you to do that. In fact, if you got to do it, just walk away from it. Because, you know, some people listen to some shit and get some other ideas in their head. So you got to clarify the shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, 90s hit. Early 90s. You know, women, you were still kind of seeing women were getting a little bit more liberated in the early 90s. But you were still kind of seeing that beat down still. And that was still kind of, you didn't see the police coming around.
No.
That O.J. Simpson case changed shit drastically. Now, when that O.J. Simpson case was going on, you know, I'm still, I wasn't really paying it much attention because I didn't know it would have political ramifications. Like people, even back then. Remember, I would watch the news and they were talking about how the nation was divided.
Right.
You know, I didn't pay that shit no attention. You know, I just want to go out and play basketball, hang out with the fellas, and be a little silly teenager and run over to the mall. You know, I didn't pay that shit no attention back then.
Right.
I didn't realize that was going to have ramifications later on.
I don't think any of us did. I don't think any of us saw that as it being a ramification to anything. And I don't think that we really looked at it as something that we're going to change a whole bunch of things.
What do you mean by that? Tell the people what you mean by that, Simpson.
What I mean by that
elaborate
is
on that, man.
Just
you can't be saying stuff to the people and not elaborating. You putting stuff out there.
Come on now. I'm talking about the fact of more police interaction between us and them. Okay. You know, the fact of what we're talking about right now as far as women and domestic violence. Because, like you're saying, you know, we didn't have that interaction with them. We didn't trust them. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it came to something like that. So,
when did this trust? When and why did this trust ever start? I'm wondering when and why did this trust ever start? This interaction, this trust.
Well, what do you think it came out of? It came out of that feminism. And that feminism and wanting to be independent and I can do it without a man type thing going on. You know what I'm saying? So you have to think if it came out of that if they didn't have a man around, who was going to be their protector?
And see, I think in this last election, y'all, this kind of hurt Hillary Clinton because a lot of this did fall under the Clintons' watch. You know, when this stuff, when these laws start kicking in place. But let me fast forward a few more years later and get to the point. I get my little dumb young ass into some trouble. This is years later. This going into the late 90s, right?
Right.
So, you know, I get locked up. I got locked up. Okay? And I go to jail. And, you know, it was on some bogus charges. They ended up throwing it out, you know. I ended up going to jail. So I'm up in the jail, and guess where the whole neighborhood is at?
Where?
At the JC. At the jail cell.
Right.
So I'm like, nigga, I ain't seen you. This what, I'm damn near the whole block disappeared, really.
Right.
And at the time, I didn't realize a lot of that was because they were gentrifying the neighborhood.
Right.
You understand? So they were really locking brothers up for dumb shit. I mean, they was putting brothers in jails for dumb shit. So I get to talking in about cases. Because you ain't got nothing else to do, but you sitting up chopping it up. So I'm chopping it up with the fellas, and it was 2 reasons why a lot of men were in jail: domestic violence and child support. I'm talking to the people now.
Oh man,
domestic violence and child support, and it was all. I'm sitting back listening to the cases. And most of these cases was behind some female. There were very few guys were in there where it was not some female involved in some type of way. I know a guy had a rape case going. All his baby mamas got together and said he raped all of them.
Oh my gosh, yo.
This thing is acting up, yo.
Yeah, I see it.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't know what's going on.
Okay, we got it straight. The computer were acting up a little bit, but yeah, man. So what I started noticing was sisters would get into an argument with brothers, and man, 911, they were calling 911 left to right, man. I mean, you were constantly hearing about brothers, getting locked up for no reason. And Central, tell the people, in your opinion, why was this so effective? When it became in our relationships, why was this so effective, man? Get to the point.
To me, I think it became more effective because, if we're correlating this to O.J. Simpson and what happened with him and the fact of him having a white wife and the fact that they treated that situation just like they treated ours back then. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's okay. He hit you a little bit. You'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? And they left it alone.
That's how they generally did treat it.
Right. Okay. So you think about now, correlate that to us. You know what I'm saying? Where they didn't get involved at all.
They did.
You understand what I'm saying? And now you go and now you push forward after the fact that OJ got off.
And they were pissed off about that.
Okay. Which meant that gave, even though it did give black men some source of power, even though it really didn't.
Explain it.
You know what I'm saying? It was like he got a source of power. He got off, so that in a way kind of meant, well, if he could get off on this, you know what I'm saying, or since we let him go from this, what does that mean for us as black people? Because we've been letting them go off of this kind of stuff with their own women for the longest time. You know what I'm saying? So it was looked at now as this could possibly be an effective tool to take away from. You understand? So if these women complain, then we could take this as another tool of getting men off the street and separating our families once again.
Man, I think it worked very well. Now, and also I think it was kind of a thing where, they got off. They won at something.
Yeah.
Johnny Cochran beat us.
Right.
So, all right, yeah, y'all got that little victory. We about to win the damn war. And because of that, you got to fast forward now. Because of that, it's a whole lot of laws that just start getting created.
Yeah.
And, the child support system started getting a hell of a lot more savvy with, technology and everything.
Right.
And, you can't really even get a check now. If you got kids, it's a done deal. They can just track you now.
Yeah.
So now, I think I don't think I know. Because of this, I started seeing a lot of older guys, because I was hanging around a lot of older guys who had kids.
Right.
Some of them had kids older than me.
Yeah.
But I would sit back and listen to them, and they would talk about women's lib a lot and the women's movement. And, they would sit back and talk about how things have changed.
Yeah.
And how, sisters have just turned on us. And, they was telling me that back then. Man, this was in the 90s. They was telling me back then, hey, man, sisters have turned on us. Things ain't the same.
Right.
You know, this women's lived and fucked this shit up. This shit is fucked up. Now, they was saying this back in the 90s.
Right.
Now, what you fast forward to, because you got this little movement coming around where white men are on it too, called the MGTOW.
Right.
You know, we have explained MGTOW. If you don't, or MGTOW, if you don't know about it, look it up. But I want to get into this calling the police thing on brothers, and how women, especially sisters, unless the dude is really beating you down, you shouldn't do it. Unless he's really doing something seriously, you shouldn't do it. Because a lot of y'all would just get in y'all little emotions and call the police. You understand? And I remember back in the day, you know, when dudes were still beating girls and getting away with it. They'll get into their little emotions, they'll fight, but they'll be back fucking and back together again.
Right.
So women will get emotional. I'm sorry, women, y'all tend to get emotional and make something
out of
nothing and make it more than what it is. But what's going on now is, I think calling the police has kind of backfired on a lot of chicks.
Yeah.
For example, you get into that emotion, and you and that guy's just having a simple disagreement or a simple argument. He doesn't agree with you.
Right.
But you and him, he may be the breadwinner of the home, because you see this happening, or this guy may be bringing money home.
Right.
But y'all just have this little skirmish. You put him in the system.
Right.
And then you want to go downtown and recant, and the system go ahead and charge him anyway.
No, that's what happened in the end. Really, that's where it went in the end, because you did have so many females talking about, well, no, I don't want to press charges against them.
And they pressed them anyway.
Right. And so what ends up happening is, right, the state was like, well, we're not going to keep hearing this. Y'all called us in on your situation. You understand? And now you don't want us in the situation. You know, so which one is it? And so the state or those court systems were like, we're not gonna allow you to keep doing that, because that's what kept happening. A lot of times these women called, and then it was like, well, I don't want him to go to jail.
Right, because some of those guys were breadwinners in their
of their families. Yeah. But you know what happened in the end is because of that. So what happened was, the state was like, no, you're not going to keep saying that to us and bringing us into your situation. So in order for us to stop and you to stop, we're going to just pick up it. We're going to let the state pick it up and charge him anyway. And if you don't like that, we'll charge you too.
You hear that, people? And that hurt families too, because now you lost your job. You lost your job.
Right.
You can't provide for your family. I knew a guy that was in that situation, and he had to go and pretty much do a lot of freelance work, a lot of plumbing, a lot of building, because he couldn't go get a job no more. All because of a simple little altercation with him and his wife that they had. And guess what? They ended up together.
Right.
And Ray Rice did. I mean, look at Ray Rice.
Right.
He's a prime example. You know, I mean, that probably wasn't even the first argument they got into. And if you look at what they did to Ray Rice, I mean, he didn't even get back in the NFL, did he?
No, I don't think so.
This is all because of OJ's ass.
Right.
This is all because of OJ's ass. And fellas out there, I'm gonna tell you right now, do not argue with no woman. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's not because, you know, you're a punk or she got the last word. Because you know how, like, a lot of, when you're young, you want to get the last word and argue with her, and you know, all that energy. You want to let her know, look, chick, you ain't checking me. I'm checking you. Technology, she can get that FaceTime, buddy. She get on that FaceTime and start recording, and you're sitting there being emotional.
Right.
And boom.
That's video evidence. That's evidence.
Oh, and guess what? Blame OJ for it. OJ fucked it up for everybody. I mean, he fucked it up. When that OJ case hit, a lot of men got fucked up. And I ain't just talking about brothers either. I'm talking about white men.
Yeah.
I remember I was working at this temp service, and I was gonna do an assignment. Right, this was years ago. They ran a background on this older white guy. They brought up a domestic violence case he had from 1992 out of California.
Right.
And they told him, "Hey man, you can't work the assignment." And the dude was like, "Huh? Well, we go back in your record from 1992, and you have a domestic violence. He was like, yo, that was back in 1992. And he was saying something about it, they had dropped the charges.
Right.
And even I'm looking at this shit like, really?
Yeah. And now they use that against you now. Now they use it against you more now than they probably did whenever that was. And so that now will stop you from getting a job now. They probably won't even hire you because you have that on your record now.
And
that's just worse as having a robbery, armed robbery, or a murder on your record, Joe.
And all because this chick just got in a moment. A lot of times it just be because this chick had a moment. And a lot of the times when the moment is over, you think about it was stupid.
Right.
It was stupid.
And now you've stopped a man from having a job, or being able to feed his family, or even pay that child support you after. And you know what I'm saying? Because now he has something on his record that says he beats women. You know what I'm saying? And because of how the laws are now focused on y'all, more so than they are on men, that stops them. So you've stopped somebody from getting what you want in the first place.
And what this does, ladies, and I'm definitely talking to the ladies in this case, is smart men are not getting into relationships with bitches no more. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Smart men are like, look, if you're going to be a straight up pure bitch and you're going to give me a hard time, I'm just not going to deal with you. A smart man, he ain't going to argue with you. He's not going to put himself into that kind of situation. And a lot of men are walking away from